hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside,
Charles Thomas,
Paget Maynard.
Okay, man, we got a whole bunch of stuff to be talking about. But Paget, you were saying something about what was that you was talking about?
Okay, some of the issues we're seeing following this Roe v. Wade overturn, and well, we know many of the states have some anti-abortion laws, which is now creating lots and lots of problems for many people. We talked last time, I think it was, about that 10-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we know in Indiana, they had to take her there, but in Ohio, we haven't heard a thing, not even a whisper. I don't know where his ears went. But now, Indiana Attorney General was, oh, no, this, that. But then, now he is investigating the doctor. Mm-hmm. Well, if there was no problem, why are you investigating? What are you investigating? So there is an investigation about nothing. And we're seeing more and more of this type of thing going on. Now, don't forget Jim Jordan, representative from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
As far as he was concerned, there was no such thing. And his reply was, the Democrats making up things. Oh, what do you expect? Could you expect less? So it's always somebody else. Now, when they came out and show the evidence that this girl actually had to have the abortion, the young man was arrested and charged. He confessed. He was charged.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan wiped out his tweet or whatever they call it. He took that off. But now adding that this guy should be pushed, penalized to the full extent of the law. Well, why you want the law if there is not a problem?
But, you know, I still haven't heard of a Republican say anything concerning the girl. You know, I've only heard two of the Republicans saying anything about that case, and they were saying, well, we hope they punish him to a full extent. I haven't said anything about the girl, you know.
Well, they're not going to apologize. They, as Paget just said, they tried to make it sound as if it was a fictional case, that it was made up. The Wall Street Journal did a commentary on it. Faux News, aka Fox News, did a whole segment about how this was all made up. Then when it was revealed that the young lady indeed was 10 years old and had been raped and was involuntarily pregnant, then the whole focus shift to, well, okay, it's an illegal immigrant, and see how Biden let these guys in so they could do these crimes. Well, it turns out that the man, if you can use that word loosely for a 27-year-old person who rapes a 10-year-old girl, came here during the Trump administration.
Yeah.
So all these red herrings and straw men that they set up to knock down have been revealed to be nothing more than just positioning and made up stories. But it goes back to the original argument before Roe v. Wade was overturned. You had women warning that there were going to be cases where a pregnancy was necessary because of rape, because of incest, because of pregnancies that threaten the lives of the mother, and almost daily we see new cases that come to the fore where a woman's life is in danger, or a barely teenage girl, if teenage, presents herself pregnant, which ipso facto means she's been raped, and then you have these holy rollers falling back on their heels, saying, well, it must be meant to be. The Lord mandated that this girl carry this baby. It's a really sick thing, and it's all about, in my opinion, social control. We're looking at Handmaid's Tale come to life. This is the new Gilead that we're seeing.
Yeah, and a few states, along with Oklahoma, I know Oklahoma is one of them, they don't care if she's raped or whatever. No. She's not going to get an abortion. I mean, it's like,
but,
you know.
But at the same time, they won't pass the Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, so that some of these people can have medical care and perhaps get birth control before they get pregnant. Have some type of medical foundation, some type of baseline established so they know where they are health-wise, and they can make empiric, sensible decisions. That right's taken away. But this fairy tale about them having this sanctity and reverence for life that they always bring up is belied by the way they treat the people that are already up here living and breathing. If that child is 2 days from being born, it's the most wonderful thing that God ever created. 2 days after it's born, they don't give a damn about it.
No, and the thing is that you've got some of these states. I mean, it's like, how can you make up how can you come with some kind of rules like that? And was North Dakota, was a lady what you call it, of North Dakota. Anyway, North Dakota and a few more states, man, it's like they don't care, you know. It's like whatever. They don't care how she got pregnant, you know.
Well, we just had a case in Missouri a little over a week ago where a woman had an ectopic pregnancy.
Right, I was going to reference that.
She was in severe medical distress.
Yeah, had to watch her die.
And the baby was, the fetus was in distress just because of the state of the pregnancy. The pregnancy wasn't viable. And they went on to tell this woman that they could not give her a life-saving abortion until such time as they knew that the fetus wasn't viable because they detected a heartbeat. And in Missouri, under their law, if a heartbeat is detectable, you cannot have an abortion. So the doctors described it as waiting for this woman to either die first or for them to not be able to detect a heartbeat, and then have the doctors be able to explain that legally before they could proceed to save this woman's life. And now they're always talking about freedom. Now I know they spell it F-R-E-E-D-U-M-B, but they're always talking about freedom. Freedom, get the government off my back. Get the but they're the ones who always pull the government into private decisions. And here you have a woman who's on the verge of death.
Yes.
And having a sepsis level of infection rather, and she nearly had to die before the physicians could intervene when they should have done that 48 hours previously.
The thing is, it was not only that they had to wait, but the doctors now have to wait until the attorney says she is sick enough.
Yeah.
You can now attend to her.
Well, you got. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Texas, you had some problem there too. A woman lost so much blood. One woman in one of the cases, about a pint. Another, like she lost, not a pint, a liter. Another one lost more than a liter of blood, because the doctors have to just sit there and wait. And this to me, and I had to jot down a word there, pro-life. Dennis, you just hit it a while ago. Pro-life. These are people who say they're pro-life, but they didn't care if these women die. Sitting there in all this pain for so long because you said.
Well, you know, one of the things is, back to what Dennis was saying, it's that they want to have, they still want to have some control over women, and we got these women out here who grandparents was into that, the man's always right and all that, and then comes the lady, and then right now we got that same thing out here where whatever the man says, the woman's gonna agree to it, you know.
Yeah.
You need to get it. You need to get some change on that.
Yeah.
And the only way we're gonna get this thing corrected, there are two things I would suggest. Number one, people have to get out there and vote these people out of office and put people in there who are going to stand up for the rights of the people. Number two, you need to get at least two justices out of the Supreme Court, both of whom were accused and seemingly credibly accused of misconduct with women.
Well,
and what I would hope and wish that those women who would have liked to but didn't get the opportunity to testify then would come out now and let the world know, hey, yes, he did it. You got two people in there you must get rid of.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is now is that, again, we you know, the people on the Supreme Court are there for life, and that's one of the things that irritates me.
Well, force them to resign.
How are you going to force them to resign? They're going to
calling their bluff, exposing them, and on top of that,
Their credibility.
they could be
Their credibility,
impeached.
You know.
You could impeach the justice,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but before they was even put on the Supreme Court, we had with people up there, but you know they own that now, so ain't nothing we can do about them. But we can do something about the people, the different people we sent to Washington. Can do something about
Ahmad?
that.
Well, they lie in the beginning, and when they get in office, man, they just flip on you.
Ahmad,
Well,
if these guys are allowed to stay there, I don't care who else you send to Washington, because they'll still be sitting on the court, and when such things come before them, you're still a loser. You're not getting anywhere.
But
they need to be out,
You-
and the only way, vote out these people and have new people in Congress. And secondly, if you have to impeach the justices, do that.
You ain't gonna be able. You know,
It can be done.
you know, we talking about maybe 1,000 years from now.
No.
That might happen until they get the justices where they're say Supreme Court maybe 20 or 25 years, then they have to retire. That's the only way you're gonna ever be anything. Because they got lifetime jobs, man.
Well, I'll intervene this way and say, Padgett, I agree with you what should be done, but it's not going to happen.
No.
If you look at just look at the economy. Every time we've had a recession in the last 40 years, it's been during a Republican administration. And then a Democratic administration comes in and cleans up the mess. Even coming out of a pandemic, even with the pipeline clogged up shelves empty and inflation going up over 8% worldwide, we still see the economy growing under Democratic administration because of their policies. But that news doesn't seem to leak down to the voters in the red state. They just don't know these facts.
And
Let me finish. And you could go on and on and on. You could talk about the fact that you've had 2 Republican presidents in the last 40 years lose the popular vote and still assume office.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about the fact that millions of more people in this country identify as Democrats, identify as progressives, identify as liberals, but yet our policy initiatives are superseded by this right-wing fascist movement. Mm-hmm. And so you could go on down the line, blame it on ignorance, you could blame it on gerrymandering, you could blame it on Sunday afternoon baseball doubleheaders, whatever excuse you want to come up with. But the idea that in 2022 we're going to impeach Supreme Court justices is just fantasy. You know, it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to ever happen.
It's just
all
not
I'm
going to happen.
saying, it can be done.
But you know, that's the fantasy.
Well, you can hang an elephant off a cliff hanging on a daisy using theory. Anything's possible. Let's be real.
Yeah, but we
I want you to explain to me how in 2022, 23, 24, we're going to be able to have a hearing on Clarence Thomas and the credible sexual assault allegations made against him from the time he was a appeals court judge all the way back to when he was just beginning his career after law school, and we can go over the beer drinker on the Supreme Court and talk about his clownish actions. Mm-hmm. And you can bring witness after witness to the table, but I just don't see how it's going to happen, resulting to an impeachment.
That's not going to do any good. You know.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing then is that the system allows us to have things thrown at us, and we can do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's been, man, ever since we got here.
But it doesn't have to continue being like that. That means people. Now look, the other day, January last year, all those people for Trump went up there and messed up the Capitol building. Mm-hmm. Nobody did it before, but it happened.
Okay.
Well, nobody did this to these judges before, but it can happen. And all I'm saying now, the people
walk us through. Walk us through. How would it happen?
How?
Yeah.
You have a mouth.
No. Walk me through the process of how you impeach 2 Supreme Court justices.
I don't have the info in front of me. I know there is a process.
Yeah. Of course, we know that.
For that. But I can't tell you off the top of my head.
There's probably something in place, but it's never been used.
It's been used before. We've impeached Supreme Court justices before.
It's been,
and it's written and codified in law how it's done. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't want to spend the rest of the show on this, but in 2022, moving forward, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to
happen. It could happen in theory. It has precedence. It's happened before, but it's not going to happen under these conditions.
It was 18.
No, it was in the 20th century. We had a Supreme Court justice impeached in the early 1930s. We also had one in the 19th century. There's precedence for Supreme Court justices being impeached, but the idea that we're going to take Kavanaugh and Thomas off the court because of their lies.
We won't get them now. We wasting time on them.
I think we better start thinking about how to get them off.
But it just goes to show you how corrupt it is up there.
There you go.
No, look, when you go down now, these people sitting there going to tell you what you could do in your own bedroom. What you and your wife can do, when and how, and all of that. And they're going to sit there. No, man. They need to be out.
Yeah, but look. What did they do the other week? They got rid of the abortion. Look at all the doctors now.
And look what is happening.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, Patrick, is that they don't care.
They don't care. But we have to care. And that's where we have to pressure.
But
how do we get diamonds? Pressure.
Or go to Jared's.
You were saying.
I'm just saying, What are they? There's always, it's a distraction as far as I'm concerned. I mean, nobody's talking about the budget and deficit of this country anymore.
The deficit's decreasing.
Yeah, but this is the amount of money that is unaccounted for or being lost, or however they explain this runaway deficit.
The deficit's decreasing.
Well, you look at
Every time, that's another thing. Every time you have a Democratic administration, the deficit is either eliminated or it's greatly decreased. And then Republicans come in and they cut these they cut taxes on the wealthy and corporations, saying you don't have to spend your money on us. But we're going to continue to spend our money buying weapon systems, unnecessary weapon systems, put money in our boys in the on the military industrial complex. So deficits, man, are a result of policy. It doesn't have anything to do with our long-term longevity, because we're printing money. We can make as much as we want.
But we can't back it up.
We don't need to back it up. You know how we back it up? We back it up with tanks, planes, and bullets. That's how we back it up. So man, it does have to be backed up. If you want to look at what could be backed up, we just found about a month and a half ago a gold mine in the Democratic Republic of Congo that's estimated to be worth $12 trillion. That's more than the economy's worth, the entire economy. So if you want to look at tangible wealth, diamonds, gold, platinum, rare minerals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's no continent richer in the world than Africa, but there's more people living in poverty there than anywhere else in the world. That tells you that it's not about tangible assets. It's about what you say I've got and the ability to back it up.
And hold it.
And
the ability to back it up.
And the thing is that people, majority of people don't, this is, and all this cost of living and everything. But other countries, man, it's like, I watch the news and they be talking about how these other countries, man, how the, everything is up, but the people always hear when Biden is trying to get everything down, other countries are just.
Well, people can't connect the dots.
No.
We've got worldwide inflation. Worldwide. Not just the United States. Not just because of blue state liberals. Not just because of gays and lesbians and abortions that Fox News blames it on. It's because primarily the war in Ukraine and the clogging of the pipeline after the pandemic has caused supplies not to be able to meet demand, which causes prices to go up. It's economics 101. If you went to college for a year, you learned that in college, supply and demand. Now, they have a way with their megaphone to say it's the president's fault. It's the president's fault. If the president is at fault, explain to me why inflation is running away in Egypt. Explain to me why it's running away in Italy. Explain to me. So what we have now is we have a situation where we are on the brink of famine in East Africa and in parts of the Middle East and in parts of Eastern Europe, where people are beginning to start that they're already what they call insecure, nutritionally insecure. When people start dying of starvation because of this war, and it's brought to people's attention that this is not anything that can be addressed by somebody waving a magic wand writing a check, because you have to get that grain through the Black Sea port, down into East Europe, down into Africa. So
and everybody want a piece of that. Greed.
Well, it's not so much greed here, Chuck. It's the demand is here and the supply is here.
But I mean, even to get through the Panama Canal, it's an exorbitant rate.
But we're talking about it getting there. We're talking about it leaving. It's not able to get on the boat to even leave. Now, I want to take you back a couple years.
Okay.
You had Donald Trump on the phone with the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, trying to blackmail him into going along with his scheme to make up some type of fantasy about Hunter Biden and votes and hidden internet servers over in Ukraine, so that somehow it could make his 2020 win a little bit more legit. Because remember, he had just gone through that impeachment hearing where we talked about the Russian interference in the election. So he spends all this time making Ukraine insecure, making the Russians look at this and Putin look at this as a real viable target. And then when he loses in 2020, Putin says, "I'm going in there. The time is now or never."
Right.
So if not for Trump's interference with Ukraine and sending the weapon systems and the supplies and the support that we should have sent initially in 2016, we may not have had this war in 2020, ergo the inflation that we're receiving now. But people don't connect the dots. They say it's Biden's fault. The gas prices are up. The food stuffs are off the shelf. It's Biden's fault because Fox News told me.
But
that's not what caused it.
That's what upsets me. It's like, this man is doing everything he can, and still you look at the they was talking about it with Friday night. They was talking about his 39 or 38%, the lowest percent.
Look at his approval rate, and then juxtapose that to the literacy rate of the average American. And there's your answer. Because people don't connect the dots because they don't read the dots.
Right.
So if you don't even, and not that they can't read it, they don't read it because the game's on. Because some reality TV show where people run around in bikinis is on.
Play baseball.
It's always these distractions, and then you say to the government, "Fix my problems." Well, fix them your damn self by paying attention to who you vote for. Because again, if Trump wasn't playing games with Putin in 2015 and 16, we wouldn't have had this war in 2022. It wouldn't have happened.
Right, because he was a compromise going in there.
Well, he was corrupt. And now you have the outcome of this war hitting us all in the pocketbook, and people looking around for somebody to blame, and they turn on Sean Hannity, and he says it's Biden's fault.
And the troops out of Syria and all that.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is that it might not happen, but I believe that and every year they talk about, well, it's a down year for the president. When I'm off them 2 years, I just believe this time, I don't believe people gonna be that stupid and go and vote a lot of Republicans in. Now, they might.
Chuck begs the difference.
Well, but they might, because we've got five women running in different states. 5 women running, and most people now can see that women are best. Women are the best on getting things straightened out.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine, messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God."